on Cronkite Sports Live. Baseball's brewing in Tempe as ASU plays host to Santa Clara in their 2024 season opener.
Lutza Patovari and the Sun Devils continue to dominate in the pool. We'll break down the Petra Party and ASU's blistering beginning.
And Frankie Collins nears ASU's single-season steals record. We've got everything you need to know before the Devils head to Tucson this weekend. All that and more coming up on Cronkite Sports Live. Roses are red, violets are blue. College baseball's back, and we're happy to be here with you. Welcome to Cronkite Sports Live, a opening weekend edition of our show. Aiden Blank and Blake Neiman. No Valentine's Day for us, but that's okay. We're going to cheer ourselves up with some CSL.
It's always a lovely time here in Studio 6, but I still prefer the gorgeous scene at Phoenix Municipal Stadium, home of MLBU. And on opening day eve, former Sun Devil catcher and 8-time major leaguer Chris Bando was inducted into the College Baseball Hall of Fame. Bando won a national championship with the Sun Devils in 1977, and adds to ASU's NCAA leading 13th inductee into the Hall. So, Aiden, who's next?
We're going to find out. ASU and Santa Clara kicking off the weekend, and no better place to start our breakdown of this matchup than at Phoenix Municipal Stadium, where a slew of young arms is expected to kick off the Sun Devil season on the mound. For a full breakdown of the weekend rotation, here's WCSM baseball reporter Max Cepeda.
Thank you so much, Blake and Aiden. It is a gorgeous day here at Phoenix Municipal Stadium as batting practice is just now beginning just behind me here on the grounds. But just to get everyone queued up before tonight, specifically when it comes to the starting rotation side of things, Thomas Burns for Arizona State. He is going to be making history tonight. The first true freshman since 2006 to be getting the starting nod on opening day. Ike Davis was the last person to do such of a thing here at Arizona State since then. But on Saturday and Sunday, much evener plans, much more veteran voices going to be on the mound for Arizona State. Connor Markle, the GCU transfer, he'll be on the mound Saturday afternoon. And then Sunday afternoon, how about this? Tyler Meyer returning back to the mound. He missed all of last season due to a shoulder surgery that he had last season. Missed all of last year. He's going to finally return to the mound on Sunday afternoon. As for the bullpen, freshman Cole Carlone going to be getting the opportunity to be the closer, at least to begin the year. But look out for a lot of the veterans, at least when it comes to the bullpen. Matt Teeting, Jonah Giblin, they're going to be ones who will probably be sprinkled in throughout this opening weekend. And don't forget about Sean Fitzpatrick, the Arkansas transfer. He'll probably be getting in some action as well. Now, Arizona State's offense is probably the biggest selling point for this ASU ball club coming into 2024. And both sides, both the outfield and infield, both really have some very big selling points on both of those sides. But for more on the infield specifically, I'll turn it over to my fellow baseball reporter, Justin Carter.
Thanks, Max. Arizona State isn't short of offensive firepower and talent all across the infield. Fans at Muni can expect spring dingers all season long. Let's start at the corners. At third, it's sophomore Nuke Contradas, and at first, Jacob Tobias. Contradas and Tobias both received all Pac-12 preseason honors. Contradas batted a .309 average last year, good for 5th among freshmen in the Pac-12, while also tallying 20 extra base hits. Tobias, on the other hand, started 54 games for the Sun Devils, batting .317 with 59 RBIs, including the 10 times he went yard. Get used to more Toby Tanks this year. The middle infield has a few more question marks, but don't mistake that for a lack of talent. Likely to get the start at shortstop for ASU is senior transfer Steven Odina, who, despite only playing 22 games due to injury in 2023, fielded at a .968 clip. Head coach Willie Bloomquist has a couple options at second base, but for tonight's start against Santa Clara, Bloomquist has opted to go with senior Kevin Karstetter. Kevin Karstetter finished his career at the State College of Florida with a .358 career average, and last year in his junior season had a monstrous 77 RBIs, slugging .714 with 30 doubles, 4 triples, and 12 homers. He's sure to make an impact tonight against Santa Clara. Expect high-powered offense and booming bats this year from the infield at Phoenix Municipal Stadium. For more on the outfield, though, those guys in the grass, we'll send it back to the studio with Justin DeHaas.
Thanks, Justin. With redshirt sophomore Nick McClain out to start the season, Head coach Willie Bloomquist needs to evaluate his depth in the outfield. The most likely replacement for McLean is sophomore Kean Vu, who was the fourth outfielder on the team last year. Vu started 28 games in 2023, and more than half of those were when McLean was injured. Redshirt freshman Brandon Compton is another option to consider for outfield depth. Compton is a two-way player that is more ready to hit as a designated hitter, but he could still be that fourth outfielder if Vu is starting. The other two outfield spots will be filled by sophomore Isaiah Jackson and redshirt senior Harris Williams. Jackson will start in center as he did last year, and Williams is a San Francisco transfer that was named to the Pac-12 preseason all-conference team. The loss of McLean will certainly hurt, but ASU endured before and has options to fill that void. Back to you at the desk.
Justin, when ASU takes the diamond later tonight, they're going to be without maybe their best bat in the lineup. A few weeks back, we found out an outfielder, Nick McLean, would begin his season injured for the third year in a row. The preseason All-Pac-12 honoree broke his left hand and will be out until at least the third week of the season. For more on Nick, here's Parker Porrell.
Arizona State outfielder Nick McLean held high aspirations heading into the 2024 season. However, McLean will be sidelined for the start of the season due to a broken hamate bone in his left hand. Hopes are high that McLean will be able to return by Pac-12 play, but this loss leaves the Sun Devils without a strong force in the field and especially in the batter's box. In 2023, McLean transferred to Arizona State from interconference rival UCLA as a highly touted prospect. Yet similar to this year, McLean could not suit up immediately for the Sun Devils. McLean had suffered the same injury he is battling through right now except on his opposite hand, leaving McLean out of the lineup for 8 weeks. Upon returning from injury, McLean proved to be one of the Diamond Devils' best weapons. In just 23 games, McLean would have more RBIs than games played, amassing 24 RBIs and 8 homers on a .298 batting average. The Pac-12 All-Conference Honorable Mention recipient will be a crucial loss for Arizona State, who has a tough non-conference slate to start the year, leading off with a series this weekend against Santa Clara. For Cronkite Sports, I'm Parker Porrell.
Arizona State water polo has been almost unstoppable through the early part of its season. The key word, almost. The Sun Devils' lone blemish on their 11-1 record came in a 13-8 loss to number 1 UCLA at the start of the month. Now just a couple weeks later, ASU will have a chance at redemption against the Bruins tomorrow in LA. For more on this top 10 MPSF battle, we send it out to Aiden O'Neill at Mona Plummer.
We are just 24 hours away from a showdown in Westwood between the number 7 ranked Arizona State Sun Devils and the number 1 team in the pool, the UCLA Bruins.
Head coach Petra Party and the Sun Devils trekked to the City of Angels with an 11-1 record, sweeping the ASU Invitational this past weekend against UCSB, San Jose State, Marist, and Ottawa. The Bruins played spoiler in Arizona State's lone loss this season. The Sun Devils competed, but ultimately fell 13-8. ASU historically has not fared well against the Bruins. In 31 matchups, Arizona State is 2-29 all-time against UCLA, with their most recent win coming in 2021 in Tempe, a year where ASU finished as the third best team in the country behind UCLA and USC. In its 22-year NCAA history, only 3 teams have ever hoisted the water polo national title, with UCLA hoisting 7 of them. In order to be the best, you have to beat the best, and Arizona State will look to right past wrongs this Saturday.
Patovari. If you've watched ASU water polo, there's a good chance that that's a name you've heard constantly. The nation's leading goal scorer has been on a tear of epic proportions, and it's led her team into the national spotlight. Our Jacob Brooks has more.
ASU Water Polo's 11-1 start is the program's best record through 12 games since 2013, and a lot of its success can be attributed to star attacker Lutza Patovari. Patovari currently leads the MPSF in goals with 52, with 9 of those goals coming in last Saturday's match against Marist College. Her stellar performance set a new ASU program record for goals in a match, so let's break down exactly how she was so dominant. So here you're going to see this is Petovery's first goal of the match. She's going to get the ball up here at the point. She's going to pass it down to her teammate Millie Quinn, who's going to go inside of the water polo 2-meter line. Now the water polo 2-meter line works similarly to offsides for hockey, so that's going to allow ASU to get 2 players down inside of the line and do a double set on the 2-3 posts. Now what that's going to do is that's going to attract the attention of the Marist defenders, leaving a lot of open space up here in the flats. So now Millie Quinn, she's going to swing the ball over to her teammate Yasmin Digmons up here, and now Digmons is going to become a real threat to score here for the Sun Devils, which is going to cause the Marist goalie to shift over to that right side of the cage, which is going to open up a lot of room here on the left side of the cage. But Digmons isn't even planning on shooting. She's just opening up that part of the goal for Petovery. Now Digmons is going to swing it back over to Petovery. She's going to pump fake and then do the rest. Easy first goal for her in this one. Now this is Petovery's third goal of the match. The action is going to be going on down here. Now you can see her teammate Millie Quinn again is going to set a basketball-like screen on this Marist defender who has no idea what's about to hit her, which is going to give Petovery an extremely great lane right here to swim into. She's going to go into it. A dime from her teammate sets her up with a ton of open water, and just like the last one, Petovery is going to do the rest. Great power shot into the top of the net. Now we're going to skip forward to the fourth period. This is Petovery's 8th goal. You'll see ASU's actually on defense here. Now what's going to happen is her 2 teammates are going to set a double team trap on the Marist offensive player, and Petovery's up here. She's going to trust in her teammates to create a turnover off of this trap so much that she's going to leave before ASU even forces a turnover. Then they do end up forcing the turnover, and Petovery's anticipation gets her a ton of open water. She gets a dime from her goalie. Now she's in a one-on-one situation with the Marist goalie, and you know she's going to take advantage of that every time. Puts a great shot in. That was her 8th goal. Like I said, she would finish with 9, which is a new ASU program record. And this Saturday, ASU water polo will be taking on #1 ranked UCLA. So we got a lot to look forward to, and we know Petovery is going to do more great things in that one. Back to you guys.
Wednesday night hoops at DFA. Devils looking to get revenge against Oregon State. Jose Perez and Early J. Here's Frankie Collins. Came into tonight looking for 4 steals to tap Fat Lever's record, but got busy from downtown. Speaking of getting busy, Jemiah Neal, how about a season-high 21 points in his first game off the seats this season? Nothing new for Neal, though, who spent the majority of his collegiate career as the 6th man for the Devils. And he wasn't just getting it done offensively. Look at that dive to the floor. The effort level was elite for ASU all night long, including from Adam Miller, the Mamba mentality, getting out of this shooting slump and throwing it down with some authority. Brian Salabunge following it up, flying high like Superman and getting the crowd. They just can't get enough of it. And the ball movement, man, it was just on another level for ASU tonight. Collins, another triple from the quarter. And then on the other end, Neal, an alley-oop to Sean Phillips. Look at that extension. So much oozing potential for Phillips. And Jemiah, we saw the jam earlier. How about some jelly? And then here's Frankie Collins taking it down the lane. He's the peanut butter to Jemiah's jelly, making this Sun Devil sandwich complete. And on a night when everyone was getting involved, how about the young buck, Akeel Watson, splashes the bucket from deep to cap off a second-half surge by ASU, who wins it by 18 and gets back above 500.
We're going to keep it right at DFA because we got a little record watch going on. You mentioned Frankie was right on the verge of breaking ASU's single-season steal record, and spoiler alert, that record hasn't been broken in a hot minute. WCSM men's basketball reporter Ryan Myers is here in Studio 6 to take us through Frankie's fantastic day and his fight for ASU history.
Yeah, guys, Frankie Collins is now just 3 steals shy of tying the ASU men's basketball single-season steals record of 76, set by Fat Lever back in the 1981-82 season. Collins has been a thorn in the side of opposing guards, hounding players consistently, creating chaos, using his quick first step and anticipation to get in passing lanes and disrupt offenses. He is currently averaging about 2.9 steals per night, ranking 4th in the NCAA. Collins is the only player in the Pac-12 with over 45 steals, and he has 28 more than anyone else in the conference. On Saturday night against Arizona, Collins will have an opportunity to cement his name in the ASU history books. And with 6 games remaining in the regular season, he has plenty of time to blow Lever's record out of the park. Guys.
Well, it's not exactly a secret that Tucson is not a friendly place for the Sun Devils. But once upon a time, not too long ago, Arizona State was a force to be reckoned with when they went down to T-Town. Ben Paris takes us back to 2019 in this week's Vault.
Since the turn of the century, now over 20 years ago, the best record the Arizona State men's basketball program has posted in Pac-12 play is 12-6. In 2019, the Sun Devils finished with 12 conference wins, including 2 against their rivals from Arizona, en route to making the NCAA tournament. The Sun Devils stock was high after ASU had taken down #1 Kansas in non-conference play 3 days before Christmas 2018. Just over a month later, on February 1st, 2019, nearly 15,000 fans packed Wells Fargo Arena as Remy Martin and the Sun Devils took the Wildcats to overtime. Zylan Cheatham grabbed 22 rebounds in the game, which is still the most in a single game by an ASU player since 1976, while Martin added 31 points, which at that point was a career high. ASU outscored U of A 12-5 in overtime to break a streak of 6 losses in a row to the Cats. Before the game, Bobby Hurley ran 92 sprints on the court in front of his team, one for every point he had lost to Arizona until that point, in hopes of starting a new chapter of the rivalry. His team got it done on the court in Tempe, but they still had more to come.
And, you know, me loving Hurley, me loving the ASU community, and seeing what it's been through against U of A, is something that the team and I took upon ourselves to say, hey, why not make a turn in history and keep it like that?
36 days later, the Sun Devils hit the road down south to try to complete a season sweep of Arizona for the first time since 2009. Martin paced the Sun Devils again that night with a team-high 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. ASU found a different gear in the closing stretch of the game and extended their lead to 10 points, the only double-digit lead for either team in the game, with just over 2 minutes left. They went on to win 72-64 as Sun Devil fans' chants echoed through the McHale Center as the fans in red and blue filed out of the arena. The win in Tucson gave Arizona State a 12-6 record in Pac-12 play, which was good enough for a second-place finish, the highest the team has ever finished in the Pac-12 regular season standings. The season ended with a win in the first 4 against St. John's before a first-round exit to Buffalo and the NCAA tournament. Sound familiar?
We're taking you back to last weekend. ASU Alaska Fairbanks hockey Sun Devils on the power play. It's pitched up top for Matt Copperud, and of course he puts it home through traffic in front to Notch's 13th power play goal of the season. Fairbanks with a big opportunity. Gibson Homer coming in, standing tall, sprawling to keep it out from the same side. Fired in, loose in the crease, and the Nooks bank it in to tie things up at 1. Now, later on, ASU back on the man advantage. Shot by Copperud, tipped in by Ty Jackson, notching his second goal in his first weekend back. Other end of the ice. 2 big saves by Gibson Homer, and the net goes down, but Copperud's power play goal tally goes up. That's 14, breaks a record that he himself set. ASU try to establish the zone. Ethan Smaggy dumps it in deep. Possible ozone turnover, but Niedermeyer says no. Big hit from the junior. Here's Fairbanks notching the gap to 1, making it a 3-2 hockey game. Cade Aaronholz. What are you going to do about those Minnesota board hockey players? It's known as the hockey capital of the world for a reason, but this one seals the deal for the Devils. Smaggy sends it all the way down into the open cage. Your final score 4-2 in favor of ASU. They show that student section all the love after a 2-win weekend, first win over Fairbanks since 2019.
In the toughest conference in women's college basketball, it's been difficult for ASU to keep up with the competition, especially being in just the second year under new leadership. The Sun Devils have snagged just a pair of wins in Pac-12 play, including a road dub over UW, who they'll face in a rematch tonight at DFA. So with that, we now bring in WCSN women's basketball reporter Tia Reed. And Tia, what were some of those key factors in ASU getting the win over Washington about 3 weeks back in Seattle?
Yeah, like ASU beat UW 73-65 back in Seattle in a back-and-forth game. Jaylen Brown played phenomenally, had 34 points in that game. Trey Crisp helped out as well with 16. But the big thing for ASU was their shooting percentages. They shot 61.5% from three-point and 86.4% from the free throw line, well above their season averages. Meanwhile, they also turned their defense to offense. Washington had 15 turnovers and ASU scored 17 points off those turnovers, while Washington couldn't do the same. So it was just a really strong performance from ASU all around across the board and getting that team win over Washington for their first Pac-12 win of the season.
Obviously, it's been a little bit since then. So how have these two teams changed since that last meeting? We know that ASU, they've been able to struggle, only mustered off a win against Cal. And how about UW as well?
Yeah, Blake, like you said, ASU has one win since then, and it's against Cal. It was a 5-point win here at home at Desert Financial Arena. Meanwhile, you look to the other side, Washington. What have they done since then? Well, they also only have one win, but it was a upset win over number 11 USC at Galen Center, a really tough place to play against Juju Watkins and that whole team. And also that stretch includes an overtime loss to Stanford, a loss, but you take a number 6 team, Stanford, all the way to overtime. Pretty impressive. Now, for ASU, Jaylen Brown is still phenomenal. Jaden Simmons is still leading this team defensively, but they've had their struggles with single-digit quarters. They're getting outscored by 10 or more in a quarter 4 times in their past 4 games. It's just been really tough for ASU when Washington has had so much success, including from Savia Sellers, a freshman, stepping up big while Jaden Noble's been injured in the last couple of games.
With the season winding down, ASU trying to muster some madness as March approaches. So what do the Sun Devils need to do tonight to be successful against the Huskies and get that ever-coveted third conference win?
Yeah, ASU really wants to go for it. And like I said, last time they shot really well across the board from 3, from the field, and from the free throw line. You can't rely on that. You're going to have to try your best, take advantage of the opportunities in front of you. And the big thing for ASU, make your free throws. They are one of the best teams in the Pac-12 at getting to the free throw line. They've just got to hit them, and they've got to do it better than 68.5%. Also with that, can't get careless with fouls. You need players like Jaden Simmons and Jaylen Brown on the floor. You can't have them getting into foul trouble, being close to 3 or 4 fouls like they were in their games against the LA schools this past weekend. And like I said before, turnovers. They capitalized on those last time. They're going to have to do it again. Rebounding, it's a huge thing that Natasha Adair has hounded on for ASU. They were out-rebounded 34-26 in that last game. They're going to have to battle on the boards. They can't let Washington get offensive boards and second-chance shots. That's what's buried them all season. They're going to have to fix it for tonight's game.
Thanks so much for your perspective, Tia. Tip-off is set for tonight at 6 p.m. at Desert Financial Arena.
Blake, some more highlights, this time Territorial Cup in gymnastics down in Tucson. Starting off strong with Sarah Clark on uneven bars for ASU. 2 giants into a double layout dismount, and of course, the stick to seal the deal. Up next, we got Alex Theodoro on vault pair of 9-9s back-to-back from her and Anaya Smith. The iconic Yurchenko 1.5 in her typical anchor spot. Up next, we've got senior Emily White having some fun with her Lady Gaga routine right into a switch ring and switch half leap pass. Her music may be a bad romance, however, her relationship with the floor is anything but. Then we've got Hannah Sharp with a beautiful front tuck, step out, round off back handspring double tuck. She, of course, absolutely nails the landing, sealing in another 9-9 for the Sun Devils on that floor exercise. And on to the final event of the meet, we've got Beam Queen Kayla Lee with a huge triple series, a back handspring, back layout, leading off the ASU beam lineup. Beautiful. And to close out the rotation, Emily White's going to come up again with a beautiful front aerial into a beat jump, scoring a 9.875. ASU takes the win over Arizona with a 6-10 deficit.
The ding of the victory bell is noise that resembles the joy of every Sun Devil fan. For ASU golfer Wenyi Ding, the sound of success screams from his name, shooting up the leaderboard. The freshman Ding shot an absurd 27 under par en route to becoming the 5th Sun Devil to win the Armor RE Invitational. For more, we bring in Strider Bigler.
World on notice this past weekend when he became the first collegiate golfer to score a sub 190 in a 54-hole tournament at the Amer RE Invitational. Ding's excellent play isn't all that surprising. What is surprising is that he's doing this in only his second start in his young college career. He became the first college golfer to shoot sub 200 in his first 2 tournaments, finishing a total of 44 under in those 2 matchups. Ding joins John Rahm as one of the only golfers from ASU to finish 16 under or better in back-to-back tournaments. The rest of the Devils performed well, with ASU finishing second in the tournament with a score of 63 under, a new Arizona State record. Ding and ASU will look to continue their strong play in Las Vegas for the Southern Highland Collegiate starting on February 25th.
Well, things might have gotten a little hectic at the Phoenix Open last weekend, but amongst all that chaos, there were 2 former Sun Devils in the field. WCSN men's golf reporter Sam Goodman gives us a closer look into who these alums are.
Just events in the Valley has come and gone, and with that, the return of 2 former Sun Devil golfers, this time on the PGA Tour. Kevin Yu, a 2021 grad, and Nicolo Coletti, a 2016 grad, were both competing at the Waste Management Phoenix Open this past weekend. Yu came off of a strong performance that landed him in the Aon Swing 5, qualifying him for the Waste Management, whereas Coletti had to qualify his way in at a tournament last Monday. This gave him his PGA Tour debut, though. Yu started the tournament hot, finding himself inside the top 15 after day 1. Unfortunately, bad weather and early tee times left some rough conditions for Yu, leading him to fall to an even score and miss out on rounds 3 and 4. For Coletti, fortune favored him in his debut, as he birdied multiple clutch holes, including hole 16, to an eruption of cheers that placed him in the top 35, well above the cut. Coletti rose from that point onwards to score 4 under before a rough last day sent him home last of those who made it past the cut. Still a debut to be proud of for a guy ranked outside the top 1,000 coming into this event. For Yu, it may not have been the best appearance, but he stays in the Aon Swing 5 standings, giving him a spot in this week's Genesis Invitational.
Speaking of ASU alums playing at the next level, former Sun Devil defensive back Ro Torrance will serve as the lone representative for ASU at this year's NFL Combine. Torrance's senior campaign featured nearly 40 tackles plus a pick on Heisman runner-up Michael Penix Jr. Torrance and the rest of the Sun Devils will find out if their pro dreams will come true in late April in Detroit. Going up on a Thursday at Club Farrington, ASU taking on BYU at the Littlewood Classic. Cougars would strike first and take the 2-0 lead in the top of the first inning, but it would not take long for ASU to answer. How about a grand salami from Sarah Kinch? Devils on top 4-2 after an inning of action. Top of the 3rd inning, Haley Morrow, that is, mashes the ball into the Tempe night sky, shortening the Sun Devils' lead to just a singular run. ASU needs an answer in the bottom of the inning. Look no further than freshman Libby Walsh. Her first career hit and RBI puts the Devils up 7-5. Top of the 6th, bases loaded. Cougars trying to claw back, but the Devils turn 2 and get out of the jam. And then Alicia Debbie, with an absolute moonshot, no doubt about it, seals the deal for the Sun Devils, who win the opening game of the tournament 10-6 the final in favor of ASU.
Another big weekend for ASU softball last weekend at Farrington. The Sun Devils handed BYU their first loss of the season and now move on to play this weekend in the Littlewood Classic. This roster may look a little different than what you saw at the end of last year, and that's because Megan Bartlett went into the portal and cooked up a couple of big-time transfer additions. For more on this new-look Sun Devil offense, here's WCSN softball reporter Jake Sloan.
After losing 4 of their top 6 hitters last season, the Sun Devils looked to the transfer portal to fill the void left behind. 2 of their biggest transfers came from the Mountain West Conference, with Conference Player of the Year Kelsey Hall from Boise State and Defensive Player of the Year Alicia Denby from Fresno State. Hall earned the Conference Player of the Year and NFCA All-Region nods with a .385 batting average, 11 home runs, 52 RBIs, and 39 runs scored, while slugging .854 on the year. Her first hit this year as a Sun Devil was a triple against St. Thomas in a 9-4 win, and also notched an RBI double against her former team the very next game. Hall was named to the preseason top 100 players by both D1 Softball and Softball America, and looks to prove that ranking throughout the season. Denby won Defensive Player of the Year playing for the Bulldogs last year after starting all 54 games for them, and finished with a .944 fielding percentage on 105 attempts. The California native was just as good on the offensive side, batting .314 with 10 home runs, 31 RBIs, and a career-high .615 slugging percentage, being named to her second straight All-Mountain West Conference first team. She started hot out of the gates this year, batting .500 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs in 5 games, and has also managed to stay perfect with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Thursday, the Sun Devils beat an undefeated BYU team 10-6, but face a tough 16th-ranked Virginia Tech team and a winless Illinois State in their doubleheader Friday. A win against the Virginia Tech Hokies could be huge for the Devils and could possibly lift the team high enough to sweep the weekend. For Cronkite Sports, I'm Jake Sloan.
ASU lacrosse continued its historic start to the season Thursday night with an 18-11 win over Pittsburgh. The result marked the Sun Devils' first 3-0 start in program history. ASU's early dominance can be attributed to its success in several statistical categories. For more detail on the Devils, here's Leilani Firetag.
As ASU lacrosse enters its 2024 season, they have already achieved many milestones under head coach Taryn Fanthoff. The former Florida assistant head coach enters her second season as head coach. During her first year at the helm, the Sun Devils made a jump. And the numbers spoke for themselves. Second in the NCAA in clear percentages for several weeks, and third in shot percentage in the Pac-12 at 74.7%. The Sun Devils also netted 47 free position goals for a 45.6 success rate, which is 8% better than opponents. Just 3 games into this season, Arizona State has picked up where they left off. ASU's first game against Xavier ended in a 21-10 victory. The last time the Devils scored 20-plus goals was against Cal in 2022. ASU has now won their first 3 games of the season, which is the first time in Sun Devil lacrosse history. If the Sun Devils continue at their current pace, expect more milestones to come for Fanthoff and her team.
Sun Devil women's tennis is back, and Blake, they're cooking with fire to start the 2024 season, and some gargantuan matchups ahead. ASU ranked 25th in the country, and this week they face number 1. The top-ranked Oklahoma State Cowgirls headline a 2-week homestand. And for more on this home cooking, here's WCSN tennis reporter Alex Martinez.
After a long rain delay last weekend, Sun Devil women's tennis swept Arkansas to improve to a perfect 4-0 at home. This weekend, ASU looks to extend their home winning streak as they get set to host number 1 Oklahoma State in Cal Poly. Through 9 games, Oklahoma State is 9-0 with 4 top 6 wins and 8 top 15 wins on the season. The Cowgirls are home to 5th-ranked player in the nation, junior Anja Obi-Kajirdir, and redshirt sophomore number 17 Anastasia Khmer, giving Oklahoma State a big advantage in singles play and also doubles play as the pair is ranked 13th in doubles. The Sun Devils will then shift their focus to Cal Poly on Sunday, who's currently 4-1 with their only loss coming against San Jose State. The Mustangs are led by sisters Delaney and Peyton Dunkel. In order to win this weekend, the Sun Devils are going to have to piggyback off of their momentum from last week's sweep. Both 77th-ranked senior Julia Morley and 97th-ranked freshman Amelia Varionides will have to play very good matches this weekend against 2 tough opponents. Guys, back to you.
How about some top plays at Mona Plummer? Sophie Shorter Robinson, a no-look spin move score. It's like she's got eyes in the back of her head, Aiden. I mean, I swear those water polo players have got to have a sixth sense.
Blake, we're going to keep it in the pool. Nobody in ASU history has scored 9 goals in a game until now. Luca Patovari rocks the twine for an ASU single game record. Devils took that one over Ottawa, Arizona, 23-7.
From stars in the pool to a star on the ice. At number 1, Matthew Copperud continuing to shine at Mullet. A couple of power play goals versus Alaska Fairbanks, breaking his own single season record with now 14 goals in the man advantage. And the Devils now get their 20th win on the season. That means now ASU baseball is going to look for their first win of the season.
Yeah, we're both out there. Excited to see the weekend series and some really good weather hopefully in store. Starting to feel like summer again here in Phoenix.
Should be exciting. We'll have all the coverage from Phoenix Municipal Stadium this weekend at Cronkite Sports on socials and, of course, cronkitesports.com. For our entire wonderful studio production crew, my partner Aiden Blank, I'm Blake Neiman saying so long from Studio 6. We'll see you next week.